Great question. So I am from Boston, Mass. I have been in the aesthetics industry since 2006, so almost 18 years. I actually bought a piece of property down in Naples almost 2 years ago now. It was actually supposed to be an investment property. I started working with a rental management company, someone that actually furnishes rental properties, and I was about to start to list it. So I would come down, my family would come down, friends, we would use it before I said, no more, I'm going to start renting it out. And I just fell in love with it down here. Everyone was so friendly, happy, welcoming. And the more I started going out in the area, I'm very sociable. I would sit at a bar, start talking to people around me, and they would ask, oh, what do you do for work? What brings you down here? And I said, well, I don't do it here. I do it in Boston. I'm a nurse practitioner. I do Botox and fillers. I'm in the aesthetics industry. Every single time I went out, someone would ask for my card. Can you do my treatments down here? I said, I'm not licensed down here. I have a practice in Boston. So every time I went home, I just missed it down here. And I thought, well, why don't I open a practice in Naples? So here I am. I actually opened a practice. It's been 1.5 years now. So I do travel back and forth between Boston and Naples. I come down once a month to see patients. My whole end goal is to get to a 50-50 split. Everyone has just been so welcoming to me, reaching out to me business-wise, and also neighbors and just people you meet as you're going out down here. It's a very different vibe, and I just love it.
Awesome. And what inspired you to pursue a career in the skincare industry? And can you share any significant moments or experiences that influenced your decision?
Yeah, so when I was in high school and college, I have a long story, I'll make it short. I, believe it or not, battled some acne. So I started going to a plastic surgeon's office in Boston for facials, and they just boosted my confidence. I felt so much better. So I always was into getting skincare treatments myself. I have a bachelor's in business. I worked at a corporate job for about 3 months. The 9 to 5 was just not for me, sitting behind a desk. And I went back to school to become an esthetician. So I did laser treatments, micros, chemical peels. I worked alongside nurses and doctors. And I did that for many years. And there was one particular nurse that really pushed me to go back to school for nursing. She just said, you're missing it. You got to go back. You're going to get your nursing degree. You can do so much more in the aesthetics industry, and you're so good with your clients. You've got to do it. So I went back to school again for a bachelor's in nursing. I thought my parents were going to kill me because now we're 3 times over going to school. So I got another bachelor's in nursing, and I was grandfathered into this particular med spa to start injecting. That was in 2010. And here I am almost 13 years later, still injecting. I've worked for several plastic surgeons in their office providing Botox and fillers for their patients. And I've also opened up my own practice about 8 or 9 years ago in Boston. So I've been on my own for quite a while. In the interim, I also went back to school to get my nurse practitioner license. So I am done with school, but getting the nurse practitioner license did provide me with a lot more opportunities. Hence, I can work in the state of Florida, which has been awesome. So I'm just so excited to be here and to grow my practice down in Florida.
And awesome industry to be in, right?
It is. A lot of I've seen many changes over the past decade or two, which has been fascinating. Not many people did some of these treatments, or if they did, they didn't talk about it. Now people feel open and comfortable to get these treatments done. I'm very conservative. Make my patients look very natural, refreshed, but it just gives them that boost of confidence to feel better without looking crazy. And I think that's so important as injectors, that we, provide safety, that we don't make people look crazy, and that it's okay to get these treatments done. And now so many people will talk about what they have done. They're not ashamed of it. They're not embarrassed by it. If it makes you feel good and they're telling their friends and family about it.
Right.
So this industry has just snowballed so quickly, and it's great.
Yeah. And you answered a little bit of, I want to ask you, in your opinion, why skincare is so important, right? Just in general. And I think you mentioned it a little bit in what you were just talking about, but what's your opinion on that? Why? Very broad, but I would love to know your opinion on why skincare is important.
Yeah, and it's not just, even though my specialty is injectables, it's not just Botox and filler. I always say to patients, if you can't do anything at all, wear sunscreen and use a good retinol. Those are two of the best anti-aging treatments. But my other thing with sunscreen is, skin cancer is very prevalent. And I know it's very tough for people down here. It's very sunny, it's hot, it's warm. People are always at the beach, at the pool. But it is so important to wear sunscreen for preventative to not only lines and wrinkles, but also to prevent skin cancer.
Right.
But I think skincare is important because it makes you feel good from the inside out. At all ages. I treat a realm of ages. Obviously, I have a particular clientele age range, but there are a lot of people starting earlier. Yeah. It is preventative, and I'm a big believer, if it makes you feel good, why not do it? Right.
And what are your thoughts on all the new technology in today's day that is being implemented in the skincare industry? We're in the digital era. There's, I feel like a bunch of new technology that's being introduced in your industry. What are your thoughts on that? Do you find that to be a positive, a negative? What are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great. Again, I've been in the industry for so long. I've been able to see the many changes that have come along. It's like any industry, it has to grow. You have to grow. There has to be changes. Change is good. There's lasers, there's chemical peels, there's the threads we were just talking about. There's Botox fillers. There's many different fillers that have come on the market in the last several years. There's also new neurotoxins that just got launched within the last year. So in the medical industry, aesthetic, skincare, things are always changing, yes.
Right.
Are some good, are some bad? Absolutely. I always tell patients, do your research. It's important to do your research, not only on the provider, but also the service that's being provided. My number one thing in this industry is safety. These are patients, and we want to provide safety to them, make sure they're comfortable, and that we're not putting them in any harm when we do these treatments.
Okay. And do yearly seasons impact someone's skincare routine?
Yes, of course. More down here. But even in Boston, I tell people you've got to wear sunscreen every day of the year. I don't care if it's cloudy, raining, snowing. You can still get your UVA, UVB, which are your aging and your burning, sunshine, which will definitely affect the skin. Right. So it's so important. I don't care what time of the season it is, to wear your sunscreen. I'm a big advocate of that, only because I've had family members and friends who have had skin cancer scares and had to have several areas removed. So it is scary. It can also, if you don't get your skin checks or wear sunscreen, it can travel throughout the body. So it is, you do want to be careful. There are certain procedures you can't have done in the summer, spring. I know it's a little tricky to do it down here because you're in the sun and heat, but some lasers, chemical peels, you're going to be very careful. In Boston, it's a little easier to do those treatments where we have the fall and winter. Botox filler, I always say, can be done year round, which is great. There's no, yes, there's some downtime to some of those treatments, but you don't have to be careful of sun exposure.
Okay. And our last question is, what would you like to share about yourself or your business that people should know Do you have any upcoming specials or new services or just anything in general?
Yeah, so all of my new patients in Naples, they do receive $50 off their first treatment, which is great.
Yeah.
And I think to any entrepreneur, small business owner, and I only know from my firsthand experience, is it doesn't come overnight. It's you've got to work for it. Right. It's taken me many years to get to this point in my career. And I don't call it lucky. I call it hard work.
Right.
I don't see myself as successful, which is odd. When people say that to me, I just say I've worked to where I am today.
Right.
It was many long nights, many long days, many hours, sometimes working 7 days a week just to get to where I am. And I think anybody can do it.
Yeah. I love that advice, especially in today's day. I feel like everyone wants everything very fast, and
very overnight, and that's not the way. Unfortunately, I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. I'm sure you guys can see where you guys have come. We were just chatting about that earlier.
Yeah.
How far you guys have come, and I think it's great to see small business owners thrive. We need more small businesses.
Yeah.
Today, and it's so great to see that Naples is so welcoming to all small business owners.
Yes, and it's growing so much, and I do love that advice because I think it trends that go into entrepreneurship or be a business owner, and it trends online that it's just it seems easy, or it seems very, success is right around the corner.
Right.
And it's not that way.
No, it's sure not. Yeah, sure not. No, it's been a long time to get to this point, even to open up a second location. It's not for the faint of heart. You've got to be willing to be on 24/7, sometimes 7 days a week, and you got to be willing to go through the trenches, the failures. There's going to be moments where things are not working. You got to be willing to keep going and keep working, and that's what will get you to where you want to be.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and much success. Congrats on, being here in Naples. And
thank you.
And all the success. And we wish you, lots more success. Thank you so much, Stefanie, for joining us.
Thank you.